talk a bit about the envelope. Now, granted, we have a variety of envelopes on this synthesizer. The cycling envelope, the LFO can act as an envelope, but this is our main ADSR envelope. And so it is relatively straightforward. It is hardwired to the amp. So whatever settings you make are directly noticeable. You don't have to actually use the matrix at all for the envelope to control the amp. It is largely in control of the amp. So as we use it, it should be evident. For example, right now we have the sustain all the way up, although it doesn't look like it. So basically, I press down a note. It goes up to the full sustain level, which is basically the full amplitude of the VCA. And then I let go, and then it goes back to 0, which is to say it immediately jumps from the quietest it can be to the loudest it can be as I'm holding the key, and as I let go, it falls. Of course, that is the most boring possible setting. That's like an on-off setting, and it's like what organs do. But we can, of course, come up with all kinds of different amplitude settings. Here's one where we just have attack and decay, which is to say the attack is how long it takes for, in this particular instance, how long it takes for the synthesizer to go from an amplitude of 0 to the maximum amplitude, which means it is a time-based setting because it's just the matter of time for it to go from 0 to what equals 100. The decay is what time it takes for it to go from 100 back to 0. Of course, the decay can be interrupted by the sustain, which injects a static voltage level, not related to time, at whatever point you want it to be on the decay, the descent of the decay. And you get to decide that. We can see that happening here. All the way 100 means there's no decay at all. And then as you bring it down, you get a little bit of decay, and then it holds at a particular level as long as you're holding the key. And the release is what the envelope does after you've let go of the key. So right now we see no release. We see it dropping to absolute, just 0. But we can add a tail on there that's the release tail, which is what it will do after you let go of a key. So let's just go through it here. I want a slight attack and a slight decay. I'm just going to hold the note. And once we've gone through, we've gone from 0 to the top of the attack, from the top of the decay back down to 0. Then even holding the key won't do anything. That's just attack and decay. So if we want there to be something that allows us to hold, that's when we bring in sustain. So becomes. And of course, we don't have a release, because release is what happens after you let go of the key. So once you bring in sustain, the decay can no longer go to 0. It can only go to whatever the sustain is setting. And then there can't be any decay after sustain because you've let go of the key. And once you let go of the key, only the release will have any effect. So that's why we just had happen. And that's what we just had happen. Now we just have a relatively normal envelope shape with an attack that goes up to 100. It's metaphoric 100. The decay, which descends to whatever level the sustain is at. And then we can see there's a release after we let go of the key. I'm going to put the sustain really low so you can hear it go through the attack and decay and then get to the sustain. Okay, we're at the sustain, and then since we have a release, we let go. And that's everything. That is the envelope on the Arturia MiniFreak.